And now, when we talk about fear of unknown, and when I say yes, we all have, but the Bible says, do not worry about tomorrow. And I think it's in Matthew where it says, do not worry about tomorrow, let tomorrow worry about itself, right? And so, with the Bible telling us that, and you know that the Bible was inspired, or rather, people who wrote the Bible had the inspiration from God. God told them what they needed to write, and God is telling us that do not worry about tomorrow, and let tomorrow worry about itself. Sanwanani, everybody, Mulishani, how are you? How are you doing? I know it might be morning, it might be afternoon, it might be evening, wherever you are, and whenever you're seeing this. Well, first things first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nevin Sonda Makungo, and I'm happy to be here. This is my first retro, by the way, and so yes, how you doing? How you doing? Um, yes, how you doing? How you doing? Um, yeah, I decided to open my YouTube channel or to start a YouTube channel simply because I wanted to inspire or motivate somebody with whatever I will be doing. So I'm planning to do some side notes or nuggets, and I'm also trying to do campaign with me whenever I can, like you get to make you get involved with what I'm doing. But welcome, 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 and please, 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 I can't beg you enough, like and subscribe and share as to many people as you can. That way it's going to help me to create more content. So now, getting back to why I had started this, right, with the side notes are about general talks, and maybe, well, not politics, I wouldn't say that, but something that it's close to my heart. So anything that is close to my heart, we're going to talk about. So be it it's a general talk, or it's just something that we need to link and relate it with what the Bible says. So this is why I did this, and today, being our first video, I was thinking, why can't we talk about fear of the unknown? Like, really, I mean, it's obvious. Most of us, if not everybody, we do have that. And I would like to say it's okay. It is okay to have that because, I mean, we're human and we do not create ourselves, right? So we need to have just a snippet though. So it's okay to have it, but then how you have it is what matters. There are people who have anxiety over this because, man, they do not know how to handle certain things, and because they're not, I would say, they're not optimistic about certain things or about the future, so they tend to worry. And I know, maybe you might not call it worry, but people get to plan, and it's good to plan. But the thing is that no matter how much we plan, if it's not according to God's will, then there's no way our plans will go through. So this is why we need to invite God into our lives, allow him to be with us, allow him to guide us, and allowing his will to happen. And now, when we talk about fear of unknown, and when I say yes, we all have, but the Bible says, do not worry about tomorrow. And I think it's in Matthew where it says, do not worry about tomorrow, let tomorrow worry about itself, right? And so, with the Bible telling us that, and you know that the Bible was inspired, or rather, people who wrote the Bible had the inspiration from God. God told them what they needed to write, and God is telling us that do not worry about tomorrow, and let tomorrow worry about itself. So, with that said, I want to say 95% it's for God. With all our worries, with all our troubles, with all our anxiety and everything, let us leave it to God. So 95%, if I put it, and I know it's not even like that because all 100 needs to be left in God's hand. But why I'm saying 95, it's the things that are beyond our control. So things that are beyond our control, let us leave them alone. Let us leave them alone, because then God is in control and according to his will. And remember, they say all things work together for good to those who love the Lord. And whatever happens, it doesn't mean that God is asleep. Whatever happens, it doesn't mean that God did not know. God saw it coming. God allowed it to happen, not because he hates you, not because of the sin that you committed, but there is a reason to that. And we leave it to God, in God's hands. But the things that we can control, like being on time, like getting to work on time, being at school on time, or doing things, or maybe assignments or whatever that we need to do on time, that is something that we can control. So we can work on that. And maybe that's the thing that we can really worry about, or we can put in that, that for punch of wanting to do certain things. Or maybe our attitude, or maybe even our anger, that we can control. So all round of emotions we can control. So these are the things that we need to worry about. These are the things that we need to intensely look into and see what we can do about them. But when we talk about things that are beyond our control, for instance, if somebody is getting sick, or somebody has fallen sick, and you've tried all that you could, you've given them whatever you could do, you don't even have money that they are sick. God is seeing that. And for some, put it this way, that God has seen where it's going to, and God has allowed it for a reason. Therefore, it's not in our hands. All that we can do is pray and ask God to give us the inner peace that we need, than to have stress and to become so anxious that we don't even know what to do with ourselves, that even ourselves become ill because of it. And the Bible itself says, do not be anxious of anything, but with everything through prayer and supplication. So these are the things that we need to do. So I just thought, what, why can we not talk about this? Because I know I have struggled with this, and it's easier said than done, if I may say. It's easier said than done, especially when you're out of a situation, or when you're seeing it from afar, like somebody's going through it. And then so we're easy to say, hey, do not worry, everything is okay. But when you're in it, that's when we get to start questioning, why me? Or why again? Lord, how are you going to take this cup away from me? So, and actually, we need to even thank God for certain things that happen. Like, when you're in the valley, you're in your lowest times, we need to be able to say thank you. Because believe me, believe you me, if I may put it this way, there's someone that is going through exactly the same thing that you're going through, but then they do not know the way out, yet you have a better way out. So sometimes you need to find reasons why to be able to say thank you. Like, find a reason why you need to be grateful. If you have life, if you ate, you have shelter, you're clothed. Because other people who might be going same thing as you, but they do not have shelter, but they're going same thing as you, but they do not even know if tomorrow they're going to survive. And yes, I do not want to belittle someone's problem, because everyone goes through their problem in a unique way. Because what you go through, it's something that I may look at and say, oh wow, but that's so little, but I'm going through this. Remember, God only gives us the problems that we're able to conquer and handle. So when we become downcasted, actually we disappoint him, because he trusts us to be able to lean on him. And one thing that I think you might also testify, or you might be able to agree on, is when you have fully surrendered to God, when you know that, what, I do not know the way out, and yes, maybe I've tried everything, but God, I surrender, here I am, I do not know what to do, and I'm losing it. And when you truly leave it to God, we always, and why I'm saying we, because I know someone can relate to this, we always see God put his hand and come through. And now listen, because somebody will be like, oh, so but if you're facing this thing, and God is watching and everything. So if we don't fully surrender, we want God to do anything, you know what, God does it either way. But the things that we are blinded by our problems, we're looking at the mountain to be so big than the one who created it. But when you look upon God, the mountain becomes so tiny that it can be moved by just that, by just doing that, it can be moved away. So this is why I'm saying this. And most of the times, when we are doing all those things, it's because we're thinking of plan B, we're thinking of plan C. What can I do? If this doesn't work, then what is that? Then God is not involved in it. But even when God is even actually saying, hey, here I am, and my hand is reaching out to you, just hold my hand, let me walk with you, let me help you. But most of the times you'll be like, you know what, and I know I'm being dramatic, but though this is what we do. Like, you snap God's hand and say, you know what, no man, I think I can take this. I think I can take this. And then at the end of it, or when you've seen that, you know what, you can't do it on your own. Hence, we invite God to come in. So my encouragement today is, let us lean on God. Let us not lean on our own knowledge or wisdom, but let us lean on God. Allow Him to lead. Allow Him to guide you, because He only knows what's best for you, and only He knows what's meant for you, So instead of having the fear, because the same Bible also says, God did not give us a spirit of fear, So if He did not give us that spirit, and being His children, we must learn to trust Him. And just on this point of saying we must learn to trust Him, actually the fear comes in when you do not trust somebody. I want to tell you something. Just recently, I was playing with my kids, and then I was telling them it was a trust game. So I'm sure maybe you've heard of it or you've done it before or something, but it was a trust game. I said, let me see if you trust me. And I had, my other kids would say, yeah, I trust you, Mom, I trust you, Mom. And that was like, Mama, but you better. And why are they saying you better? It was for the fact that I was saying they needed to fall back, and I will hold them. All right. So others had like reservations, if I may put it this way. Sorry for not pronouncing it so well. And even excuse my English, but as long as you can understand me, please do understand and take this to heart. Whatever you need to put into practice, put it into practice, because it's for our own good, So now going back to my story. So one of my kids tried to fall, but they were trying to balance so that they don't fully fall, because they couldn't trust me, but they found out that I could hold them, and they came back again. This time they had to fall fully, because now they had gained my trust. And then I had, oh my goodness, my sweet daughter, the oldest one. She was like, you know what, I trust Mom, for the fact that, well, she brought me this fine. Now you guys have come and you're not trusting her. Let me show you. And she just fully fell. But unfortunately, though, it's a sad story. Unfortunately, she didn't hurt herself, though. Unfortunately, I was trying to hold her, but she's older now, so weight is also another problem. So we fell together, but while I was holding her. But the whole lesson here was that she was able to trust me because she knew what I'm capable of. So the same thing goes with us. Fear only comes in when you do not really fully understand God. So when you fully get to know Him, you'll be able to trust Him. You'll be able to surrender all your cares. You'll be able to surrender all your trials and tribulations as you go through, because you know who He is and you know what He's capable of doing. Now, we can only know God by spending time with Him, by reading His Word, by praying. By that, it will mean that we're communicating with Him, and He's communicating back to us. And then when we put trust and leave trust, that's my dog Roxy barking right there. If you heard him, or you heard her rather, when you trust Him like completely, you see things work for good. Now, when we say work for good, remember there are different kind of answers that God gives. There's a yes, there's a no, and there's a wait. So if you had prayed for something and you've been praying for something, and you find that each time when you pray it's not happening, it doesn't mean that God did not answer. It could be a no, it could be a wait. And reasons would be maybe you're not ready for it. or maybe it's what's making you draw closer to God. So He's allowing these things to happen. So we just need to trust God, leave it in His hands. So when He says yes, well and good, He has answered. When He says no, well and good, He has answered. When He says wait, well and good, He has answered. And I know we cannot understand it now, but each time, to those that can relate, you find that we get to understand it better by and by. As you look back, you'll be like, oh my goodness, that time when I prayed for certain things, they did not work out, but now they're happening, and well, this is actually the right time that it's happening. Or sometimes, oh my God, the time when I prayed for certain things, right? The answer was like definitely no, and it has happened. And had He had opened the doors, because then you find out that had He had opened that door that you were like sincerely praying and wanting, had He had opened that door, you wouldn't be where you are today, and therefore you'll be thankful. And if you're that person that is grateful to God, you'll be able to thank God for not opening that door. So truly and sincerely, I say to you guys that let us put our trust in God, for God knows what's best for us. God's plan, like Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, even when sometimes we say it out of context, but just that verse itself, it says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you. Now the prosperity, it's not just about the riches, all right? Because sometimes we think when it says prosper, it's about riches, but the prosperity can be through health, through children, through whatever it is that is positive. Positive, is that the word? Does it positive? Anyway, I guess you know what I'm trying to say. So we need to really put our trust in God and see what God can do, because God can do anything. And when I mean anything, if He could allow Jesus Christ to come on this earth, all right, to be born, to become a human just like us, and Jesus have different kind of miracles that He performed. He healed the sick, he made the lame to walk again, and so many miracles that He did. I think there are about 21 or maybe more in counting. Why would you doubt God? Therefore, let us put our trust in God and let fear stay away from us, because God has it all covered. He's in control and He is on the throne. All right, that's about it for today. So that was our side note, or if you like, call it a nugget. So, well, I would like you to like, subscribe, and share, so that I may be able to create more content like this, or maybe more. And if you have any ideas that I can do to grow my content, please kindly share. And if it's something that I believe in, and if it's something that I can do, I'll be able to do it, I promise you.